Kyrie, obviously there's been a lot of conversation about fan interaction with players, and then there's an instance tonight. I'm just wondering what you think can be done to prevent these interactions from happening in the future.
It's unfortunate, that sports has come to a lot of this, kind of crossroads where you're seeing a lot of old ways come up. It's been part of that. It's been that way in history in terms of entertainment, performers, and sports for a long period of time of just underlying racism and just treating people like they're in a human zoo, throwing stuff at people, saying things. There's a certain point where it just gets to be too much. So, I called it out. I just wanted to keep it strictly basketball. And then you just see that people just feel very entitled out here. They pay for the tickets. Great. I'm grateful that they're coming in to watch a great performance, but it's just, we're not at the theater. We're not throwing tomatoes and other random stuff at the people that are performing. It's too much. And it's a reflection on, us as a whole when you have fans acting like that. So, hopefully people learn their lessons from being banned for however many years of being arrested, but, there's always going to be an occasion. So.
Greg Logan, Newsday.
Kyrie, can you just describe the motivation you had coming into this game? You didn't have your best performance in game 3, but you handled everything tonight and kind of gave it back to the fans. So what was the feeling of satisfaction like for you?
Oh, well, the job isn't finished. So it's just momentarily. It's momentarily. So it's momentary. So.
Brian Lewis, New York Post. You're muted, Brian.
My apologies. I was asking what the difference was for you, Kyrie, from 3 to 4. I mean, did you notice different ways that they were defending you? Did you do something to get yourself in a different mental headspace? What did you do from 3 to 4 that allowed you to come out and have a night like you had tonight?
Same things I've been doing since I was a kid. I've been in part of a lot of hostile environments since I was a kid. It's not the first time, in my life where I've had to bounce back from one of those type of performances that isn't typical of me in terms of the big stage. And I can't do it alone. So, in between, last day or so, just spending some time with my teammates, spending time with myself, just having some conversations to keep me balanced and grounded, and then go out there and have fun and play basketball at a high level. I'm grateful to be able to put on the uniform and just go perform with some guys that are very selfless and just want to see some good basketball out there. And we do the little things to help each other win.
Malika Andrews, ESPN.
Kyrie, could you just walk us through what happened? I mean, did the fan yell at you? Did the bottle hit you? What happened?
It doesn't matter, honestly, Malika. It's just these actions, like I said, are historically relative. When you think about just where we've come as a sport. It used to happen back in the day. A lot of older players went through it. And any great person, great entertainer, performer, understands that when you're achieving something bigger than yourself, you're going to have a lot of adversity, animosity, and you just got to figure out a way to deal with it. So tonight, I think we collectively dealt with it. Anything could have happened with that water bottle being thrown at me, but, my brothers were surrounded around me. I had people in the crowd. So just trying to get home to my wife and my kids.
You mentioned, treating you as human, which should be a basic right. I'm just wondering what you would want folks who feel entitled to do that to know about how that makes you feel.
Well, we keep saying things like we're human, but we don't get treated like we have rights when we're out there at times and people feel entitled to go and do things like that. We claim that we care about each other as human beings, but we just call things out before they happen, like I did the other day. And like I'm telling people, just keep it basketball. And then you have things that happen at the Garden. You got things happening in Utah, and there's a lot of history there of things happening. So just do your research. I would say to everybody, and hopefully the respect of the game is kept at a high level moving forward. That's what I hope.
Ian O'Connor, New York Post.
Yeah, Kyrie, I was just wondering before that water bottle was unfortunately thrown at you, what did you feel in the crowd these two nights? Did you feel that racism or subtle racism that you had warned about, or had they pretty much kept it strictly about basketball until that incident as you were walking off?
Well, like I said, I've been in some hostile environments where a lot of things have been said to me, a lot of things have been done to my teammates, or I've experienced some type of subtle racism that I'm referring to, where it's just underlining throughout the game. The things that they're saying is not necessarily about talent or gifts. It's just more or less about moms or what you look like, or they're calling you out of your name. And like I said, I joined this sport because I loved it. And inevitably, you're going to have opposing fans do things that are going to help their team win. They love being involved. I don't want to take away that nature. It's just when you feel disrespected as a person, man or woman, and someone calls you out your name or does something like that, it doesn't make you feel good. And then when you react, and we had times in history where people have reacted and gone in the crowd, then we're wrong. And we need to be civilized, and we need to keep our calm, and we need to keep our cool, and then it's reflected on us. So, like I said, just want to keep it upfront and truthful, and it's just unacceptable for that stuff to be happening. But we move on. So,
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Harry, kind of piggybacking off Malika's question, James just said before you joined us that he doesn't think that banning fans does anything with this stuff because it continues to happen, and he'd like to see the process change with all this. I'm curious if you have a thought on that.
yeah, I think each one of us have our own individual experiences, but as a black man playing in the NBA, dealing with a lot of this stuff is fairly difficult. Because you never know when it can happen or what's going to happen at the end of the game or before the game. So banning fans, I get the objective, but at the same time, it doesn't stop people from running on the court. I've had situations in Cleveland where people have run on the court. I've had situations so often throughout my career where, we don't really talk about it because we want to be mentally tough. We want to be tough-minded. We don't want to be called soft or we're not man enough to deal with boos, and fans never block my shot, so I'm not worried about that type of physical type of violence. It's just when they start doing things that are just out of character, just getting belligerently drunk, and that's just what sports is. You mix drunk people out in the crowd that are cheering for their team, and you have some fans that are there to watch the quality of the game, and then you have a mix of in between, and then you got this intermixing, and then now we don't know who's who. But like I said, I just want to move on from this, man. I've dealt with it as a player here as a Celtic of different things, and now being an opponent again. I just want to move on. So